Okay, we are live. What do you want to do it?
Just waiting for all our parents to join us. They're still joining at the moment. Welcome to the first of a series of information nights. Welcome to our new families. Apologies that today we had to change our plans due to the COVID outbreak that's happened in Melbourne with a hotel quarantine worker coming down with COVID and having been at Water Gardens over the weekend. But I'm sure you'll understand that we're trying to protect our whole community. So we thank you for your understanding and apologise that we couldn't actually meet you in person this evening. My name is Bradman Watson. I'm the principal of the college. Welcome. I wish I could be welcoming you in person, but as I said, we're unable to do that. Tonight is for the Bradman cluster, and it's for our families whose students are in Bradman. I'm going to ask our college captains to lead us in prayer and to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we gather. Once again, you're welcome.
We respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land on which we gather, the Wurundjeri people. It is a privilege for us to be here, and we give thanks for their past and continued care for this land.
May I ask you all at home to join me with the sign of the cross in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty Father, you are the source of all wisdom and insight. Help us to strive for excellence in all that we do. May we become people of honesty and integrity, shining this light and sharing these gifts with the wider community. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Welcome everyone to our Bradman Cluster evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Stephanie Brancasano. I'm the Bradman Cluster Coordinator. And I have behind me our Bradman Cluster Tutors and our Deputy Principal, Jamie Mason, over here. So we've got, I'll introduce everyone. We've got, Jess Tran, our Year 11 Cluster Leader. We have Lauren Fabreo, our B5 home group teacher. Fiona Heathcote, our B4 home group teacher. Amy Raptis, our B7 home group teacher. Sheridan Polka, our B2 home group teacher. Carmel Romero, our B3 home group teacher. Laura Marsden, our B1 home group teacher. We have Shirley Charles. Shirley helps us out in the classroom. She's just up in student services. She helps us with literacy support. And we have Mike McHugh, our B6 home group teacher. And Jamie Mason just to our right. And Martin Ewan, our school captain, joining us tonight to help us out.
So our cluster is named after Sir Donald Bradman. In 1948, he was captained the greatest Australian side in history, called the Invincibles. They won every single match during the 8th month tour of England. Don Bradman had a test battling average of 99.94 runs, and this record is yet to be broken. Our cluster values are integrity, leadership, and excellence.
All right, we're going to continue the presentation now. We'll just be talking about some key information about life at CRC, some key policies, talking about sector, everything you and your students need to know, and also things related to the Bradman cluster. So we'll start off with the role of the cluster coordinator. So it's really working to help students. I sort of work with students to resolve more complex learning issues through complex social and emotional issues, and working through difficult personal challenges, whether that's socially, personally, academically. We can work through all of that together. I'm also the go-to person for absences, uniform, if students want to discuss subject changes, and I also refer students to further support where necessary, whether that be for pathways or wellbeing. This is our cluster leadership structure. So we have the cluster coordinator, which is me at the head. We have the cluster associate, which is Amy Raptis, who I just introduced as a part of our B7 home group tutor. Amy's really in charge of our administration. She monitors our attendance, looks at our pastoral care data, and helps us track all that so that we can ensure the students are on task and doing their best at school. And finally, we have the home group tutor, who's really that day-to-day first contact for our students in Bradman. Okay, Lauren is now going to talk to us about the role of the home group teacher at CRC.
Hi there. So the role of the home group teacher, as Steph said, is kind of the first point of contact for students, whether that's related to uniform, attendance, if they've missed a lesson, medical certificates, issues with timetabling. And if we can't solve it, we then will refer on to somebody else. But if your son or daughter is experiencing some form of a problem, the home group teacher should be the first point of contact. We're also responsible for delivering the pastoral care program. So we see our students every morning for 20 minutes, and then every second Friday we have a 75-minute extended pastoral care period. During that time, we discuss community issues, social and emotional issues, and try and prepare them for more real-world stuff. Particularly in Year 12, we have a focus on things like preparing for TAFE or university. Yeah, that's kind of it. I've kind of gone through this already. As I said, 20 minutes a day, and then an extra 75 minutes every fortnight. Yeah, it's just getting to know one another, because we do stay with the students for the 2 years.
So I'm going to talk about attendance. So I guess when it comes to attendance, we have a pretty clear procedure with attendance, especially being a VCE and VCAR school as well. If you do have a student that is not going to be attending on the day, please feel free to call the college. The college number is 93610046, but you can find that online on our college website as well. Please make sure that's before 9 a.m, just so we can process that through. That information can go to the relevant people, including the coordinator and the teachers. So being a senior school, and as I said before, the BC and VCAL, we do have reasons for approved absences and reasons for unapproved absences. So all absences from class are unapproved except school approved through our sporting events and excursions, for example. If the student has a medical certificate for the date of the absent, and in exceptional circumstances, which needs to be communicated to the cluster coordinator as well. And the final thing, the statutory declaration as well will be accepted, but that's on, I guess, as well of those exceptional circumstances. So if unapproved absences exceed 4 classes within a semester, the student receives AN, which stands for not satisfactory. So the results are either satisfactory or not satisfactory, and therefore every unit that the student undertakes. They are 4 within a semester, but you will be contacted beforehand to just communicate that there has been maybe 2 or 3 absences beforehand, so it shouldn't be a surprise to you, and you shouldn't get a phone call just to say that there's been an in. 70% overall attendance must be maintained at the college, and like I said before, parents and guardians are clearly communicated to about these unapproved absences, and if there's anything I guess you aren't sure on, if you're looking at sector and you can see those unapproved absences, please let us know. The way that we communicate to parents will be through a phone call and an official M letter. So this means that we will mail out a letter to tell you and to inform the guardians that a not satisfactory has been obtained by the student, and then we'll have an opportunity to appeal that as well through our college. I might hand it over to Steph now.
We'll just speak now about medical information and action plans. So if your child does have a serious health concern such as anaphylaxis or asthma, perhaps a heart condition, you are required to provide the college with an action plan. Please make sure, if you haven't already, do this as soon as possible so that we can update our information on sector. Students have to do this not only for day-to-day life at the college, but it's also very helpful when we go on excursions, we go on retreat, these important events where staff need to be filled in about medical conditions. Action plans are stored in the front office at school. Okay, I might pass on to Fiona to discuss uniform.
Thank you so much. So yes, in terms 1 and 4, then your students are required to wear summer uniform. PE uniform can only be worn when students are given permission for that. So, for example, if they are doing PE, their teacher will inform them as to which day they're doing prac and can wear their PE uniform. It can't be worn just through choice. There needs to be a particular reason for that. Home group teachers will also be checking with students as to which uniform they should be wearing on what day, and we'll let them know if there's an issue. Winter uniform is worn during terms 2 and 3, and we ask students not to wear non-school uniform items. These will be, or students will have the opportunity to remove them and put them in their locker for the day, or if there's a continued breach of the uniform policy, then those items might be confiscated from them. You know, we're working daily with students in home group to make sure that they are wearing the appropriate uniform and they're wearing it with pride as per, you know, the college requirements and expectations. With respect to uniform, if they are not able to wear the correct uniform on the day, then they should be going to see their cluster coordinator before 9 AM so that they can get a uniform pass for that particular day. For students, if you can't find your cluster coordinator, then you should be going to student services to see somebody up there. For Bradman, Steph is our cluster coordinator and is usually in her office at the beginning of the day in Ronald's house, so she's fairly easy to find there. And I think I've already spoken about item number 2, but the third one there, if students are out of uniform, for example, if they are wearing leggings instead of tracksuit pants or another inappropriate item of clothing, then they would be sent home to change. The time that they miss at school because of being in the inappropriate uniform would be counted as an unapproved absence. It's another reason to wear the right uniform each day. Oh, there's another slide. We do ask parents to support us in our endeavours to make sure students are wearing the correct uniform each day. I think that includes making sure that uniforms are clean and ready to go. Sometimes hear about students claiming that their uniforms are dirty or maybe still in the wash. A little bit of organisation is required because it is a requirement of the college that they are in the correct uniform each day.
I will just touch on our mobile phone policy. You may know this already if you are the parent of a Year 12 student. That might be new if you are a Year 11 parent. Mobile phones are not to be used at the college. They should be either locked away in your lockers. They shouldn't be on students in class time, otherwise they will be confiscated. Students are able to collect their phones at the front office if they have been confiscated at the end of the day, so they'll have to wait until the end of the day to collect it. Subsequent confiscations will result in parent contact and possible parent meetings if the problem does continue. I'll now pass on to Jamie Mason to talk to you about sector.
Thanks, Steph. I guess last year when we went into remote learning, the value of our learning management system sector became very apparent. And it's really important, I think, as a parent, to make sure that you're able to utilise the engage section of sector. So I'd encourage you as soon as possible, if you haven't already done so, to make sure that you're able to I guess, get onto that platform and monitor how your student is going. So as it says there, from a teaching point of view, we use it to share resources, to record data, to set for students to be able to submit, and for us to give feedback to both students and yourselves around progress. And that's a real focus for us this year. We've been reminding teachers every day almost that it's an expectation that as a parent you'll be able to see 4 what we call formative tasks, work that's done in class or as homework, where the teacher's being able to set that work on sector, for your son and daughter to be able to submit that on sector, and for the teacher to be able to provide feedback. And we're working really hard this year to make sure that that's something that's embedded into our culture. So I'm not the technical expert here, so if you are having difficulty accessing sector, can I encourage you to let us know, and we will endeavour as quickly as possible to ensure that you're able to log on to sector. I know that our IT department, if they haven't already emailed parents, they will be in the process of emailing parents with login details. It is really important if you want to track how your son or daughter is progressing, both academically and pastorally, for you to be able to do that regularly on sector. It might be, a weekly check-in to see how things are going. In terms of our reporting this year, we're trying to move away from teachers having to provide comments at the end of the semester, which we think are really not very valuable. We'd much prefer you to be able to get information as quickly as possible on sector about how your student is progressing. Oh, yes, you would have received an email. If you haven't received that email, can you please let us know, because we're really keen for every one of you at home to be able to access sector as quickly as possible. I'm not going to go through all those steps, but suffice to say, I think it's a relatively straightforward process, and I've spent some time today trying to look at it from a parental perspective and a student's perspective, and there is quite a lot of information that you'll be able to access if you get onto that program.
I think I might add just to that, Jamie, the app is actually quite easy to use for parents. So if you've got a smartphone, the app, it actually gives you notifications. So I think the app is quite easy to navigate. So I think we would recommend, if you can, to try and get one of those.
You can see here, that's the introductory page. So I guess both as a parent and a student, you should be able to track and follow what's happening in class for all of the subjects that your son and daughter is doing. As a staff, we are getting much better at utilising that program, and we're encouraging teachers to make sure that as much information as possible is loaded onto sector.
Welcome to Sector Engage. This is a quick video to give you an overview of the types of things you can find on your Engage page. When you log in on the welcome page here, if you scroll down, you'll find a range of links to different documents and items that the school would like you to have access to. Under assessments here, you can find upcoming assessment tasks that your student will be required to submit for each of their classes. You can also get information about their results and feedback that staff have given once they've been submitted. Under the Courses tab, you can find the subject and specific information about what's happening in each class each day. Right, next is the dashboard, where you can find a fair bit of information here. Homework that's set by the teachers will list here. The timetable of your child will come up here that you can have a look at. The other really important thing about the dashboard is these pastoral care notes. So you might receive an email or a text message to say that there's been a notification from a staff member. This can be academic, behavioural, to do with attendance or even commendations. If you come in here, you can click on the information that the staff member has written, and it will give you a detailed description of the notification that has been sent. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact the staff member. Direct messages. So the school will send important information to you via direct message. For instance, in here we've got some information about family partnership evenings and important early starts for students. There's also a little icon at the top here which notifies you when there's new messages that have come through. You might also use direct message to correspond with staff members by simply finding their name along here, typing your message and pressing send, and they can reply to you as well. The last one is notices. So this just has daily messages that staff and the school puts up for the students. Anything from awards assembly information to extracurricular activities or fundraising activities that we might be having. Again, if you have any further queries, please head to the Sector Engage guide here that hopefully will have some more information about how you can find different items.
Okay, I'll continue with this one. Particularly if you're new to college and new to BCE, I guess the way that we are required to assess, we're reporting to BCAR in units 1 and 2, we're reporting to BCAR either satisfactory completion or not. And then in units 3 and 4, we're reporting both satisfactory or non-satisfactory completion, as well as a score or a rank if your son or daughter is undertaking scored assessment. I guess there's another criteria or section there where your son or daughter might be doing unscored BCE, in which case we would just simply be reporting either satisfactory or not. I guess the last point there is that if you're doing a scored BCE program, we do have examinations at the end of semester 1 and semester 2 for unit 1 and 2. And of course, at the end of the year, we'll have trial exams for units 3 and 4 in the holidays, September break, and the end of the year BCE exams, which are set by BCAR. All students this year will be required to undertake the GAT, which is the General Achievement Test, in June. As I said, the trial exams are in term 3, and the external exams are generally in November. VET students are assessed according to their competency in each unit, and if they're doing a scored VET, they'll also need to do an end of year exam.
Just got a small clip now. regarding homework at CRC. So homework is an essential component of all our courses here at CRC as prescribed by the teacher. You can, as we just saw in that clip before, for Sector Engage, see all of the homework tasks for the week for your student on that home page. What's this one? Students should be completing around 2 to 4 hours of homework per night. So homework is not only set by the teacher, should also be related to reading, summarising, studying, particularly if you are doing a 3-4 subject, if you're in year 12, so that you make sure you revise over a period of time for the end of year exams. I might throw over to Laura now to talk about study and homework.
Time management is the key to successful studying. You're making sure you're creating a timetable if need be, and you know exactly kind of what you have due and when. You can assist your child by having a quiet work area free from interruption for them, developing a study plan, ensuring time is balanced between study and rest, keeping a record of all the work and when it is required, making a list of priorities so you know which tasks come first. And if you have large amounts of work to learn, break it up into little chunks of information and use highlighters.
Our school values student involvement, and so we believe that active citizenship and community connectedness is paramount to developing young people. Our college do provide and encourage students to participate in the many opportunities that our college does offer for them. And those activities and opportunities can be based in social justice, in liturgies, faith in action programs, community events, and sport. And so parents at home, we really encourage you to talk to your child and just encourage them to participate in the school and be a part of the community to make it better for everyone.
So each cluster here at CRC is affiliated with a charity of the Catholic organisation. Throughout the year, our students do fundraise for these charities to raise awareness, but also to get those critical funds to these foundations. There are many ways students are able to assist. We're always looking for people to help out, so please encourage your students to get involved. Our charity here in Bradman is Catholic Care. We're actually hoping to visit Catholic Care in the coming weeks to see the work that they do around our communities. Catholic Care respond to the changing needs of the communities around Melbourne. They look at social disadvantage through programs such as relationship services, courses, pastoral services, refugee and asylum seeker support, school and education support for students. All services are offered to the whole community regardless of religious belief or background, and it's a fantastic cause that we love to support in the Bradman cluster. In regards to support, in regards to support services here at the school, we do have 3 psychologists here at the college who are up in student services, as well as 2, we have one this term, careers counsellors. We have learning support officers who help out with literacy support in the classroom, and a cultural liaison officer. All of these people are located up in student services, so your student manor is above the manor, so outside, in front of the green, near the college admin building. If you are looking to get in touch, particularly with the school psychologists or careers counsellors, I'm happy to help students make appointments or get in contact if you are in need of these services. Okay, just some additional information. Catholic Regional College Sydenham will be using Sector for all forms of communication. So whether we're talking about notices, sending out information related to assembly, excursions, all that sort of stuff, we are doing that all through Sector. It's vital that you are connected with Sector Engage. Get that app downloaded on your phone and you can stay connected with our school community. Throw over now to Carmel Romero to talk about private study.
Okay, so private study, Year 11 students are able to nominate 1 period each week that they can arrive for period 2 or depart early for period 4 if their timetable allows. In doing that, they must sign a form and have permission to do so. And as a parent or guardian, you could also sign, must sign this form. And Year 12 students are able to nominate as many early arrivals and late departures, timetable permitting. Now, additional information, students undertaking a Unit 3-4 subject in 2021 were required to complete a practice examination for this subject. These exams are compulsory and will take place during the second week of the holidays at the end of Term 3.
Okay, and just to finish off, we've just got some key dates for the rest of the school year. We've got our Year 11 retreat on Thursday, the 4th and 5th of March. Students were sent home with some information regarding that and also a code of conduct that they need to sign on Friday. If your student does need a form they may be missed out, please let them get in contact with their home group teacher and we will organise for a new form to be sent home. We have the end of term 1, which seems far away now, but it will go quickly, on April 1st. Our trial exams in June and our GAT examination on the 9th of June, and then term 2, term 3 holidays. So we do ask you, not sure how this would happen in a COVID world again in 2021, but please do not book any family holidays on that term 3 holiday, because we do need Year 12 students and students doing a 3-4 subject to be at school sitting their trial exams. And then we have to be advised our VCE exams starting towards the end of October, our written exams, but we will have also performance and oral exams prior to that. Okay, we will throw to question time. We will just have a look if there are any questions in the Q&A and we'll start from there. If you have a question, do you want to just pop it into the chat and we will give our best go at answering that for you?
This says, thank you for the info, much appreciated. Gillian.
We'd also advise if there's anything you'd like to ask about student leaders joining us tonight, anything about life at the college you might want to know a bit more about. Okay, here we go. Hello to Martin. Yeah. Okay, with the app, how do you acknowledge notifications after you've read them? So once you have read them, they should come up as read, and then you can delete them from your notifications bar so they don't add up. Okay.
There's one on this.
Oh yeah, there's a few there. Okay. I'll start off with this question. Does a student require a medical certificate for every absence? Yes, they do. They need that medical certificate. The only real exception in some cases is that statutory declaration, but again, that would need to be signed and completed on the day the student is absent and handed in the next day. Question there, if our child has special learning needs and has been on a learning plan before, will this still occur? Will we have a meeting to discuss? Usually we are in the process of completing our PLPs and having parent meetings with our SWAN director, Libby Krepp. So if you are concerned or want to get in contact, we are happy to arrange this. Even if you want to just reach out to me, I'll provide my email. You can contact me via Sector Engage to organise this. Shirley, did you want to add anything to that? I might just throw to Shirley too, who helps us with our literacy support and works in student services.
We would be happy to answer any questions, or if you've got any concerns, please email or contact us through the school phone system. If there's any issues that we should be aware of this early in the term, please do contact Libby Crep, our department head, or also if your student has got any issues in regards to them starting school in the last week or so, please ask them to come up to Student Services. All our officers are up there and we'd be happy to help them any way we can.
I think also worth adding that because your son or daughter was on a learning plan previously doesn't guarantee that will continue. So I think it's really important that you let us know about that learning plan. It may well be that we are aware of it and it's continuing, but if we don't know about it, then we can't ensure that's happening. So please make contact with us.
What we normally do with students with learning needs, and that we set goals, short-term and long-term goals for them. So it is a plan in progress, and that's where we meet with the parents or the guardian student and our Libby, and that will work collaboratively and work something out so everyone is comfortable within the student's learning.
One about if we have another COVID outbreak. Look, just as we did last year, we had to be, for want of a better term, pretty flexible and, dare I say, pivot quickly on into the remote learning environment. Fingers crossed that that doesn't happen, but I think that if it was to happen, if we were forced into a shutdown, then we would be pretty well placed to move straight into that. We used Zoom pretty much across the board last year. We had an expectation that teachers and students were making contact every scheduled lesson. Didn't mean that the scheduled lesson went for 75 minutes on Zoom, but we certainly had contact on a daily basis. On I think it's the 4th of March, when the Year 11 students are scheduled to go on retreat, there will be a remote learning day for our Year 12s. So that we think it's worthwhile continuing that practice for a number of reasons. One of which is to ensure that if we do have to go back into that environment, that we're ready to go. But let's hope that we don't get there. There's also a question up there about CareMonkey. At this point, we're not using CareMonkey. We did a couple of years ago, but at this point, we're not utilising it. I'll reintroduce the homeroom teachers.
Go around again.
Yeah. Do you want to just introduce yourself? Sure. Hi, I'm Sheridan Polka. I'm the B2 home group tutor.
Hi, I'm Lauren Fabrera and I'm the Bradman 5 homeroom tutor.
I'm the Bradman 4 home group tutor.
Hi, I'm Amy Raptis and I'm the B7 tutor.
I am Carmel Mora. I am B3.
Laura Marsden, B1 home group tutor.
And Mike McHugh, B6 homeroom teacher.
Yeah. Do you know the learning common?
About the learning common.
Yeah.
I think it's about 8 o'clock. I believe it opens at about 8 a.m. And usually, staff start arriving at about 7:30, but the learning common is about 8 o'clock until about, I'd say 4 o'clock. Yeah.
Can I just add something to that? I'm in the process of just constructing a very brief survey to send out to students and parents about how best to utilise the funding that we've got from the Victorian Government for tutoring this year. We've got a number of ideas about when and how to run that, but I'd be keen to get feedback from both students and parents, and I'll be sending it out later this week via sector or direct message.
Okay, does anyone have any further questions they might like to ask now before we sort of wrap up for the evening? Okay, looks like we may have answered anything. If you do think of something or you have a question or you want to get in contact, please do contact anyone on the Bradman team, whether it's your home group teacher, our cluster associate Amy, or myself, Stephanie, a cluster coordinator. We look forward to working with you this year and supporting your child in the best way that we can. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Someone's raised their hand.
Go away. Hold on. No, it's gone.
A little wait, yeah.
Oh,
Wait.